Hi friends, welcome back for another Accent Quickie. I'm your host, actor and speech coach Kelli Ruttle, and today's accent is Boston. In this video, we're going to cover 4 sounds that make the Boston accent distinguishable from others and how you can make those sounds happen, whether you're here for an audition or here because you're curious. Welcome. Let's get started. Many Americans can spot a New England accent based on certain characteristics, but not many can pinpoint the exact location. And then there are some who refer to any New England dialect they hear as a Boston accent. But there are some sounds that are specific to Boston alone, such as important Boston sound number 1, R to ah. With more details regarding the R consonant later, I want to focus first on how the Bostonians handle the R diphthong. They don't simply drop the R coloring like they do with other diphthongs. What they also do with this sound is they elongate the first part of it. That's what the colon means in the IPA symbol. The colon is indicative of length, and it means it's supposed to be held for just a little bit longer. So, to go through a few examples, these words, car, park, harbor, you're going to drop that initial R sound and elongate the vowel, which means they're going to sound like ka, park, harbor. You hear how the vowel sound is held for just a little bit? Let's try a few more. Star, hop, arm, marple, garbage, garden, Arnold, sharp, hot. Park the car in the darkest part of Harvard Yard. Great. Moving on. Important Boston sound number 2, a to eh or eh. You have a couple of options for how you can handle the short A sound, as in cat or hat. One option is to simply turn it into a pure vowel eh sound, making the words ket or het. Another option, which I hear more often than not when I listen to audio samples, is to take a pure vowel eh sound and throw a little bit of an off glide onto it, putting movement into the vowel sound. This means that cat would become cat. Hat would become hat. Do you hear how there's just a little bit of a movement in the sound instead of a pure staccato eh? Let's try a few more for practice using that second option since it's a little bit more common. Apple, hand, black, fat, gallon, Africa, have, candy, stand. Dad's not glad Andrew began the fad. Fantastic. Next. Important Boston sound number 3, ing endings to in. Very often, especially in South Boston, all ing endings get shortened to in. Hummin', climbin', warnin', singin', trainin', aimin',
etc., etc., etc.
And now for the last sound. Important Boston sound number 4, handling the TH sounds. Whether it's the voiced or the unvoiced version of the TH sound, it can often become D in the Boston accent. For example, with an expression like with all, you might hear a Bostonian say wid all. Hear the D? Or you might hear them drop it completely, as in the expression all the time. You might hear all the time. Hear how it's non-existent? I often warn my students to be careful with this substitution because it can interfere with audience comprehension. And what I find more often than not is a screenwriter or a playwright, when it comes to this sound, might actually write it in the text, whether or not they want you to turn it into a D or drop it completely. Just a couple more quick things before we wrap up. The Boston accent is a non-rhotic dialect, which means they handle their R's like standard British people. It's not that they never get pronounced, it's that they only get pronounced in very specific situations. Before a vowel, as in real or bread, between two vowel sounds, as in hairy, and often terminally, where one word ends with an R and the next word begins with a vowel sound, as in here I go or where it is. And fascinatingly enough, fascinating because I'm a huge nerd, Bostonians distinguish very specifically between these three words when it comes to their vowel sounds. Most Americans will be super lazy and just use the short A sound, ah, for all three. Mary was Mary when she got married. But for Bostonians, all three words have a different vowel sound. This word, synonym to wed, has the short A, ah, marry. This feminine first name has that sound we covered earlier in the video, the eh with the off glide, Mary. And then this word, the synonym for happy, gets the short pure vowel eh, merry. This means the sentence sounds like Mary was merry when she got married. Fun, right? And there you have it. 4 changes and a little bit extra that will give you a great head start on mastering the Boston accent. If you found this video useful, consider donating a cup of coffee in the link below. And just like with other Accent Quickie videos, there are more Boston sounds that you can learn. If you are interested in studying the dialect further, or if you have any questions about what we covered in the video today, you can always visit me at speakthespeech.net and reach out via the contact form. In the meantime, thanks so much for tuning in. Be safe and well, and break a leg.